So I'll get us started here. Hello, everyone. Thanks for attending tonight's CASA Choices presentation. Tonight with us, we have Jimmy Dillon, who is the Associate Director of the West Central Illinois Building and Construction Trades Council. Jimmy is a local to the Peoria area, grown up in West Peoria, graduating from Notre Dame High School. He earned a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration from Marquette University and attended the Les Aspin Center for Government. In 2016, he was hired to assume the position of Associate Director with the West Central Illinois Building and Trades Council. So I'm going to turn it over to Jimmy now. Jimmy, feel free to let people know who you are and what you're all about, and then we're really excited to hear what you have to share tonight.
Thanks, Kyle, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak to everybody, even though I can't see anybody. So glad there was the opportunity to talk about one of the key things I want to talk about through this is the word opportunity. So you'll hear me say that a lot. But Kyle did a good job of my background. I've also been on the county board and know very well the great role that CASA plays in the community. So everybody used to say when I was 1997 is when I graduated high school. And everybody used to always say, well, to be successful, you needed to go to college. So I'm here to tell you, and as much as it might sound backwards, is you don't have to go to college to be successful. But you do have to learn a skill, a craft, or a trade, because a lot of those can go carry you anywhere you want. So I went to Marquette, graduated, got decent grades, wanted to come back to Peoria, got a sales job. It was a great first job. Decided working in an office was not for me, that I wanted to work with my hands outside. And opportunity is that I knew that the building trades were a good option if you wanted to do something different. So I applied. My father was a plumber, my grandfather was a plumber, my great-grandfather was a plumber. I applied into the plumber's apprenticeship program, was accepted, and then I started the journey of a 5-year apprenticeship program. So when a lot of people think about, you'll have schools come to you and say, well, I can teach you this, I can teach you that. And they'll say, well, your first question should be, well, how much is that going to cost me? So if I asked you, how much do you think our apprenticeship programs cost in the Peoria area? The answer is $0 to you. So the program is free. So if I'm an 18-year-old, now the average age of an apprentice around here is 27. But if I'm 20 years old per se, and I got into a career, you assume no debt. You automatically start with health insurance. You start with the health insurance. You start accumulating a retirement package. So you go, any of these programs range from 3 to 5 years. And I know we have some younger participants that would watch. And again, back to that word of opportunity, is you just need to know it's an option. And I'm not expecting anybody to know what they want to do. If you're 18 years old, if you're 15 years old, it helps, but you can be 25 years old and want to change your career. And these are always options for you. So you get into the apprenticeship program, you go through it, some go through nights, some go through days, you earn as you learn. That's all paid through so a part of my check for every hour I work goes to help pay for these apprenticeship programs so that it's no cost to you. So Kyle, I don't know if you're around, but we have a video where there's all different crafts, but this is one of the better videos that I've seen that shows an average day in the life of the apprenticeship. And it was put together by the IBEW, which is International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, which has a location in Bartonville. And that's another one of the joys, is most of these schools have places that are here locally. So they cover large areas, and that's one thing about construction, is that you might have to travel to work. So I'm a plumber. We cover all the way to Macomb if there's a project at Western Illinois. The men and women of Plumbers Local 63 has to man that job. So you might have to drive to work. So Kyle, maybe if you got a chance, maybe we'll start it with, I just wanted you to see an idea of what an average day looks like and what it entails.
And I'll go ahead and share the video now. Just give me a thumbs up if you're able to see it.
Okay, well, not yet.
Can everyone see the video?
Yep.
My Monday starts just like anybody else, except I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
The job starts at 6:30, about an hour drive. So I was up at 4:30.
It's not glorious by any means. But I love doing it. It's something different every day.
Yeah, overall, it's cool work, and you gotta learn it. Everything's learning on the job, so that's why you go to school twice a week at night for 6 hours, and you work 40 hours a week.
A career as an electrical worker with the National Electrical Contractors Association, NECA, and the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, or IBEW, offers extraordinary benefits, including a strong wage package, medical insurance, and a sound retirement program, among many other benefits. This exciting career starts with apprenticeship through a Joint Apprenticeship and Training Committee, or JATC Training Center, operated by an IBEW local union and local chapter of NECA.
They give you all the tools that you need to succeed on a job site out here, because you only really have 5 years in the apprenticeship, so you got to get the most out of it while you're being trained.
An IBEW NECA apprenticeship offers apprentices the invaluable opportunity to work on the job, side by side with a journeyman electrical worker, and education in world-class electrical training facilities, unparalleled anywhere in the industry. A career as an IBEW NECA electrical worker opens the door to the possibility of exceptional career advancement, from apprentice to journeyman, estimator, and management roles, to even becoming the owner of your own electrical contracting business.
After I complete my 5 years in the apprenticeship program, I hope to pursue a license as a master electrician.
I just hope somebody gives me the opportunity to run a job like this, or get to the point where I've built my career enough to where, hey, that big job over there, yeah, that's Jordan Vasic's job. That's what he's doing.
But while the prospect of becoming an IBEW NECA electrical apprentice may seem like the right path, working in construction is not for everyone. The real-life rigors of the electrical construction trade and the commitment to an additional 5 years of classroom instruction in a local area JATC trade school, as well as 8,000 hours of on-the-job training, should be understood and accepted prior to applying for your apprenticeship. This will help ensure you are making the right choice.
If you ain't learning on the job and you're just trying to show up to get paid, you ain't gonna really learn too much. In class, they'll do hands-on activities to kind of give you a feel for it. But then on the job, the journeyman will slow down and talk to you and kind of, if you ever have a question, you usually just ask them, and they should be able to stop whatever they're doing and talk to you.
Further, apprentice candidates are expected to possess a mechanical aptitude and a fundamental understanding of algebra and geometry, while being on time and keeping a good attitude, utilizing what has been learned in the classroom, online, and in hands-on training applications, in conjunction with your willingness to listen to and carry out direction as instructed, is imperative. This is not only to ensure the job is done properly, but also for the safety of everyone working on the job site. Your attendance is also required on all work and school days, as well as being prompt, as the combination of quality work, safety, and on-time delivery of every construction project is part of what makes the IBEW the very best in the industry. Workdays in construction are different than in most other occupations. The construction workday may start as early as 6 a.m. and may also extend several hours past a standard 8-hour day.
I'm up at 5:45.
My alarm went off 4:30.
Day starts at 5 o'clock, so I try to be at work and park by 4:30.
No, you got to be in class at 7, ready to go. You're late. Go home.
Although IBEW NECA apprentices and journeymen are paid well for each and every hour worked, you may be required to make special accommodations for extended work days or work a 6 to 7 day week in order to complete a job with a tight deadline. Apprentices are also expected to attend school during the week, either in the evening or during the day, in addition to taking online classes through their local JATC. This places an additional burden on the situation to ensure all schoolwork is completed and done properly. Right from the very first day on the job, apprentices are expected to be dressed appropriately for work. This not only includes being dressed for the weather and potential changes, but also to work safely on a construction site. Weather conditions are often extreme, as electrical workers may be outside in the coldest months, as well as the warmest, with temperatures ranging from well below freezing to well above 90 degrees, with high relative humidity. This is not only a matter of your comfort to work well on the job, but also your safety.
The other day I was in a manhole that we have out there. I was in there for about 5 hours yesterday. My feet were warm.
The work of an electrical worker may even be surprising to some, as apprentices may be required to unload trucks, dig ditches, and build basic structures, in addition to many other tasks.
I had no idea of what I was getting into, the extent of what I was getting into when I got into it. I did not know that electricians build things. I did not know that they tear down things. I figured that we just wire stuff.
We got a delivery coming. The guy's gonna pull in over by the pipe. He's got one skid. Want to get that for me?
You should also be aware that the restroom facilities on most job sites are limited to portable units and will be the only option available.
I never even thought about the restroom situation. Never paid any attention until I had to go to the restroom.
The understanding of your apprenticeship experience, both on the job and at the training center, is the key to making this career choice a success. And we hope this has provided a quality look into the life of an apprentice.
As long as you're there and you want to work, it always goes by smoothly.
It's just a day in the life of, is what I do.
Because, you're outside for 8 hours, it's a taxing day. You're out working physically. I wouldn't say it's easy by any means.
It's not bad. I know people think of construction, they think of dirty, and they think of, oh, it's a man's job, but you know what? It could be a woman's job too.
It's all about working together, being organized, and doing it right.
More information is available here on Electric Prep and through your local JATC training center.
And I think that, if hopefully everybody can hear me, but that does a really good job of explaining a lot of different things. And so some of the takeaways that you should get that, and if you ever got in the construction industry, you'd hear it quite a bit, is if you're not early, you're late. If you want to make good out money, most construction workers make anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000 a year plus benefits, and that's a cost to the consumers. So you have to give a good product to warrant those wages, and if you don't, people won't hire you. So you got to be expected to be on time, ready to go when work starts. Another big takeaway, I don't know how many young ladies we have watching tonight, but usually I would ask in a class, how many women think they can be construction workers? And I typically don't get a lot of hands raised, but everyone should have their hands raised, because there is tons of opportunity in the construction industry for women. Most people think it's a burly man's type job, but it's not. There's amazing craftswomen that are in our trades, especially a ton here in the Peoria area, and they've started a chapter of a women's construction group that meets and talks through there. That's a new thing that's starting. Another thing to take away is, if you don't like cold and you don't like the heat, not every day is 70 and sunny in the construction industry. So you got a lot of things that you need to work through, but it is really rewarding. And one of the last things is, I still take pride into this day of when I drive by a building and say, I built that. I built that. I have 2 young girls. I'm sure I'll say that still 15 years from now when I drive by something, I'll tell the girls that I built that, and go from there. Now, you just saw the electrician's video. I just want to say that's one of 15 different crafts in the area. You have plumbers, iron workers, carpenters, laborers, the people that you see on the side of the road, the operators. You have all these different crafts, millwrights that would do all these different things, finishers that do concrete, the bridges that are getting built in Peoria. All those are taking construction workers, and the future is really bright. The beauty of a construction work is once you learn a skill, once you learn a craft. People ask me, well, what, you went to college, why would you go do that? Because it's another craft, it's another skill that makes you marketable. That no one, once you learn how to do something, no one can take that away from you. That's yours. So if I learn plumbing here, and let's just say I decide to move to Colorado, that's a skill, that's a craft. There's ample opportunity for me to take that craft out there and make something of it. And that's the other thing about construction is, I got in as a plumber, started as a plumber, then got into where I would run my own jobs, and an opportunity to come into the office at the building trades working for the building unions presented itself. So that happened. People go work their way into offices, go and work their way at other companies, supply houses. Might even mean you go create your own company. So nothing's ever holding you back in this industry. It's anything that you want to make of it. And if you're willing to put in the time and effort, it becomes one of the most rewarding careers that you could ever imagine possibly having. And, I think Kyle's going to put in a chat box a link, and I can put some stuff into a chat box here too but I'll just say it is, our website is www.westcentralbtc.org. Again, www.westcentralbtc.org. And on that is apprenticeship information, and it breaks everything down for which crafts, when you can apply, when the opportunities are, when they take. Perfect. And Kyle just actually posted right into the apprenticeship link, which makes it even easier for anybody that would want it. Eventually we'll have IllinoisConstructionJobs.com. We're working on that. We don't have that yet, but that'll be a one-stop place for people to go look. And I get some of the people are young. So back to that keyword, opportunity. You don't need to know what you want to be tomorrow, but you just need to know that this is an opportunity. And if there's anybody that is close to getting a career, key points. You have to at least have a GED or a high school diploma to apply for any of these jobs. And there's wonderful programs in Peoria. I know Miss Hetty Elliott does a great one down at Proctor. And even if anybody has legal issues, there's no those things can all be worked through. Let's just be honest that there's no one. I just saw a question that popped up. What if somebody has some legal issues? Now, I'll be first one to be honest with you. Not everybody in any industry has not had some sort of problems in their past. Now, it might stop you from working in a couple of environments, depending on what the issue is. Say it's a school and you're not allowed to go in there in the past, but it does not stop you. Your past should not hinder your future. And so most of these industries, crafts, even if you've had stuff in the past, it's not a problem to get into any of these programs. Now, that's something I'm happy to talk to any about. So a lot of these programs, so if we had westcentralbtc.org, my name again obviously is Jimmy Dillon, but if you would call down at the office down there, the office's number is 309-674-9243. And I'll type that into this chat box here, but it's our office number. Number is 309. Oops, sorry. And if you would call down there and ask for me, I'd be happy to talk to anybody that is interested in a career in construction. And that what I would help you do is point you in the right direction, uh, and sometimes lead you to the door, and then it's your opportunity to walk through that door. So anything I can do to help, any information, I field calls all the time from people looking for a second chance, looking for a new career. They're just not happy in their career. Young people that have always known they wanted to be a construction worker. And honestly, when I went into my apprenticeship class, half of my apprenticeship class had post-secondary degrees. I feel there were 4 of us with college degrees, some with associate degrees. So again, I just want to say that it's an opportunity for anybody. So a question comes in, is 18 the youngest age? Primarily, yes, unless you have to have a high school diploma to apply. So, or a GED. So once you have that, you can start the process, which would be the easiest way to go about that. I mean, I've never really seen anybody 17 or younger to start, but each program has different things. So if I'm applying into the operators and it's on our website, what it will say is that they take their applications at the end of the year, and then have interviews. But then if I'm the laborers, they take theirs on the first Tuesday of every month. So they constantly having interviews and moving through. But a lot of the mechanical programs they're basically on like a school schedule. So they take applications in winter, early, basically December, January, depending on where they're at, interview in the spring, and then you would start work in the summer, and then you wouldn't go to school until the fall. So the school years follow just like calendars for most of the trades, just like a normal school year. You would have summers off, spring breaks. Now, not all of them are like that. If you're a carpenter, a finisher, finishers usually go to work or school in the winter because they're not pouring a ton of concrete in the winter. So each craft's different. You have to decide what you want to do. If I'm a concrete finisher, I might work for 10 contractors a year, bounce around from job to job, but that's the nature of the business. Might be laid off in the winter due to weather. But then, like as a plumber, I worked for one company for all the years I was in before I took this job. So a lot of people like different things, and I'll be perfectly honest, there's people that like having their winters off so that they can go hunting or fishing or doing whatever they want. And there might be times where if you're a highway worker where you work extreme hours in the summer, you might be working 10, 12-hour days and Saturdays and Sundays, and they make just as much money as people that work all year. So each craft's different, just depends on what your personality is and what you would like to do and learn. But again, if that number at Jimmy Dillon, if you call 309-674-9243, that's our office number. More than likely, Gayla, our sweet lady that runs the office there, would answer, and she would put you through. If I'm not in the office, I will get back to you and we can talk about a career path for anybody that would be interested. So hopefully I've touched on a lot of points tonight, answered any questions that anybody has. I guess the final takeaway is the way we started it, is it's opportunity, and just know that it's an opportunity. And there's always going to be people here in the Peoria area, especially from the building trades, that are going to try to help you succeed in life. And it's nothing wrong with a good middle-class lifestyle, and that's what this provides. And the reason I will help everybody, but there's so much money invested in these training schools, is that we want everybody that gets in to succeed. So, and it's not for everybody. There are people at times that have got in and said, you know what, this isn't for me either. So again, you can change your career path. It's always up to you to make what your destiny is going to be. So happy to answer any more questions if you have any. If not, I think I've touched on about anything, and feel free to call me at the office anytime if you need me to talk.
Thanks so much, Jimmy. that was, really informative and interesting to hear you share about those things. I forgot to mention this earlier, but for any of our attendees, if you do have questions for Jimmy, feel free to write them in the Q&A box, and we will answer them as they come up. So we'll give everyone a moment to do that now. I actually had a couple questions, Jimmy, if you wouldn't mind answering
Shoot,
them.
Kyle.
Yeah. You sent me some of these links earlier, and I was looking at them, and I'm sure everybody knows what a carpenter does or a plumber does, but I was also interested to see some trades or some skills that I didn't really know about or don't know much about. Could you, talk a little bit maybe about the lesser known trades out there, and kind of, I don't know, even describe what that person does or what the job entails?
So a couple of the ones you might not have ever recalled, like I'm sure most of it, but let's just say a millwright. So millwrights are part of the carpenters organization. So a millwright measures things to a microscopic like hairline of precision when they put machinery together. So let's just imagine an Amazon plant. And I know everybody's probably seen a picture of an Amazon plant, and you see all the packages flying overhead on all sorts of conveyor belts and all that stuff in there. Millwrights are ones that set that piece of equipment, because if something doesn't happen or not lined up, you could have packages shooting all over. So they're all set at precision. They also do quite a bit in powerhouses where you might have a turbine, or them and the fitters would be involved, and they have to set things to microscopic precision where rotors have to meet and gears have to meet and all that stuff. And like a boilermaker, most people are like, well, what's a boilermaker? Well, boilermakers are the ones that work on the big boilers at powerhouses, that so when you want to go flip your switch on at night and have power at your house, they're the ones that have crawled into all those boilers, replaced everything, and done all of that. So a lot of welding for them. Most trades do, if you like welding, most trades do have some sort of welding in both of those. But those are two of the ones. When I kept saying finishers earlier, that's what does concrete. So basically, if you would see a road or sidewalks, they're the ones that pour the concrete and strike it off and finish it and make the saw cuts in it. So those are some of the different ones that people might not know of, but there's all sorts of different ones. And on that sheet, if you would go look, that Kyle posted on that West Central app apprenticeships, it's an apprenticeship guide, and it gives you a detailed message list of all the trades and a description of all those trades in there. So if you're a little bit curious at all, I would say check it out, read it, and if you're close to wanting a career or want any questions, ICC has a great program through heavy highway construction that takes you to all these schools, pays you while you go to the schools, and you get to see them all firsthand. A lot of schools, Peoria Public Schools has it, down at Woodruff, a work-based learning program. The rest of the county schools have a program that they all go together with called Perfect, that Peoria Public Schools was part of, but then they separated because they had demand for it. And it's a work-based learning program. It takes you to all the training schools, gets you OSHA certified, shows you some other things. And then actually those two programs at Peoria Public Schools and the other schools, both in Tazewell and Peoria, that gives them basically an internship at a construction company in the second semester. So great opportunities out there. If you are in high school, I would say talk to your counselors and ask them for some information if that's what interests you, because you can enter into those programs. I know there's some welding programs, I think, down at Manual and some other programs. So good opportunity out there.
Thanks. And you mentioned ICC. I was actually going to ask, we've been talking about these apprenticeships. What is the difference between an apprenticeship and, say, doing a program at your local community college, such as ICC? Do they go together? Do you choose one or the other? What are some of the pros and cons involved?
So they don't offer at ICC what we offer in the same programs. So they have some welding schools, which honestly you're better going there than some other paid programs to go to. Ours are completely free. $0, like I said, so they don't cost you anything. You know, none of these schools have the ability or the wanting to do 5 years of training. So some of these are more condensed. I know they have some programs at ICC that do smaller things. Those aren't really competition to us, but what they are is some people might not have gotten into a program right off the bat, and so they go to sharpen their skills, their skill set, and might apply and take, say, an HVAC class at ICC to learn some basics, and then they reapply to get into the apprenticeship program. Because most of these programs, some have tests, some don't have tests. Some you have to pass tests. Some everybody can gets an interview, but they are competitive. You know, there's, let's just say the plumbers this year, we're only going to take 10. The operators were probably going to take 30. They might have had 400 people apply. So the one thing I could stress to you is time is on your side. So if you don't get in the first time, don't fret. There'll be ample opportunity. You'll learn from the first time and apply again. And interview skills are important. Be confident in them. Treat it like an interview. So dress appropriately. I know not everybody might not have clothes that are same as anybody, but wear your best clothes. Treat it like one, and you'll succeed anywhere you want to go. And also, I'd be remiss to say, I know that people always say math, math, math. And I remember when I was in school, I didn't necessarily believe it either. But there is no job, now that I'm 40 years old, is out there that doesn't require math. So all those math teachers that tell you about math, it's true. And here's the thing, it might not make sense to you in a book, but it might make sense to you in a career. So and I always use my dad, and he might get mad for it if I would use it as a, but I would say to my dad, if I asked him how to do a math problem, he would say, I don't know how to do that, but I can have him do 45-degree offsets and figure everything off in the construction industry, because the math then makes sense to him. So one there, the question is, can you please repeat the website that you mentioned? So it's www.westcentral, WEST Central, CENTRAL, BTC. So B as in boy, T as in Tom, C as in cat.org. So www.westcentralbtc.org. And if more than likely, if you just did a Google search of West Central building trades or building trades in the Peoria area, that would be one of the things that probably pops up.
Great.
Kyle, you got any more questions for me? I'm happy to answer.
I don't, but we'll give everyone another minute if they want to type any more questions into the Q&A box. Just wait here a minute.
So another question came in. Did you say how often the interviews are? So each craft, I would say go to that West Central. You'll see an apprenticeship link at the top of it. Hit that. There's two things. There's a nice guide that explains each craft, and at the bottom it has some information. But then there's another one to the right of it, I believe, that's a one-pager that gives a nice detail of when all the crafts accept applications. Some accept them all year round and then let you know. And if there is a specific craft that interests you, don't hesitate to call them and ask too. But there is information on our website that says when they take applications, and then most of them sit for an exam, and then you have an interview. So hopefully I answered that question to satisfaction.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Jimmy. We really enjoyed having you tonight. I think you shared about some careers that, you know, maybe kids don't often hear about or get the opportunity to hear about. So thank you for sharing about what you do and some of the opportunities that are out there. For all of our attendees, I want to remind you, oh, go ahead. Were you going to say something?
Well, I just want to say, just so I know some of you are young and you never know what happens in life. So I might not be on the other end of that phone if you call down there, but I guarantee you there will be somebody that will be there to listen to you and talk to you. So if it's not me, it'll be whoever replaced me down there. And that's what we're meant to do. So if you would call and say, hey, 2 years from now or 3 years from now, or whenever you want to pick up that phone and call and ask and say, is Jimmy there? And if they say Jimmy's not there, don't be scared to say, well, is there somebody there I can talk to?
Thanks. So we are recording this webinar. You can check out this video and all of our other past CASA Choices presentations on our YouTube channel. If you just go to YouTube and search CASA of the 10th Judicial Circuit, our channel should come up, and some of these videos will also come up. I also want to let you know about the next CASA Choices event that we have coming up. It will be May 19th at 5:30 p.m. And we will be joined by Carl Genzel, who is the former executive chef at the Waterhouse Banquet and Catering Facility. And he's actually going to be doing a cooking demonstration for us. So you won't want to miss that one. But that is it for tonight. Jimmy, again, thank you.
No problem. You guys will like Carl. Carl's a good guy.
Yeah, awesome. And it doesn't look like we have any other questions. So with that, we will wrap it up. Thanks again, Jimmy, and everyone have a great night.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you having me.